let's get right to the breaking news. Tim, I think you got that queued up for us. Some breaking news as we just started the Spanish announce table. WWE, hey, look, before you get it pulled up here, because
I have it pulled up like you thought, because I'm a genius. You know what I mean?
They're good to hear. So let's get right to it. This is some breaking news as we just started recording. Tim, you're better at reading the news than I am, so let's get it right into it.
Well, even though we have an extension due to coronavirus and how great we handle that in the United States, it's Tax Day, the Ax Day in the WWE world. And no, I'm not talking about IRS, though I might be talking about a son. Bo Dallas is one of the names that is on the carousel of future endeavored list, Tom, right? Folks heading out the door. WWE's current list of superstars, right, that they're letting go. They do this every year after Mania, it seems like, usually nowadays. And it's Billie Kay and Peyton Royce of the IIconics, Mickie James, Chelsea Green, Tucker, Kalisto, Wesley Blake, Bo Dallas, and the biggest name on the list, Samoa Joe.
So, yeah, what do you think about this?
You said Mojo, too.
I think Mojo was on there as well. That may be late breaking here, but we'll get confirmation. Yeah, we'll fact check that a little bit later.
Maybe
but that is
hope.
Maybe it is just hope. We'll get more confirmation on that here shortly, but that is the official list so far as of this recording. Tim, before I share my thoughts, what do you think about that?
You know, we're getting these every year, it seems. Last year, I think we were a little more butthurt about it as a fan base because we were like, come on, dicks. Like, it's coronavirus, and McMahon had just been named to a council to get America back to work right around the same time. I don't know if you remember that going on.
Yeah.
Like, got named to a presidential council. And so we were a little upset. This year kind of makes sense. It feels weird that it does happen now, like right on tax day. It's like that's on purpose, right? Like, you're like, this ended on tax. This is tax day to tax day. And it's right after Mania, which I guess kind of makes sense. But as far as the individuals, Samoa Joe is the biggest name. That's interesting. We've got a lot to dig in there. The IIconics, I think, is a big whiff too. Man, how did they screw this up so repeatedly? The other names, you know what I mean? Mickie James, if she wants to wrestle, will always have. Her husband is one of the producers of NWA Power.
Right.
You know, and will probably be welcome any other, like probably not AEW. I don't know. I mean, AEW, I don't know her relationship with those folks, period. But like, I would imagine an Impact would take her, those kind of things. So if these people want to work, there's work. That's a great thing about all this wrestling that's out there now. There's places they will be able to go and be seen. Definitely not in the numbers of WWE, though. So that means a money loss for some of these folks, I imagine, huh?
Yeah, so I think the biggest loss isn't Samoa Joe. I think the biggest loss is the IIconics. I thought that's a ready-made tag team for any division in any promotion, obviously in WWE or outside of WWE, AEW, Impact. You know, the list can go on. I think they are the two biggest losses from the roster because they were awesome. Obviously, they won the tag team championships over Sasha Banks and Bayley for a couple years ago at WrestleMania. So obviously, there's some stock you can put into them. I think with the news from AEW, kind of jumping over to that little bit of breaking news, Ivelisse getting released from AEW. She was part of the first ever tag team. Women's Tag Team World Cup or whatever that was called. Now you can insert the IIconics and now you can build a women's tag team division over in AEW. I think that's ready-made right there for you. Samoa Joe is the biggest name from a name standpoint. I think everyone knows more about Samoa Joe than anyone else from this list. Like I said, the IIconics as a duo is just as known, I think, but Samoa Joe as an individual talent is the biggest name on this list. However, I will point to you that Samoa Joe has been wrestling at a breakneck speed. It feels like since 2002, maybe 2003. I mean, he has iconic matches back to his Ring of Honor days, not even including, his classics with Kurt Angle in Impact Wrestling or TNA at the time. And then you just, culminate that into the WWE where he had matches with Roman Reigns and AJ Styles and all of this stuff. That's a lot of miles on the body. So I don't know necessarily if, one second here.
Oh.
Got my light turned off here.
Nope. Tom lost light. So
oh my goodness.
look at him. He's just falling all over the place. But you're not wrong. I mean, Samoa Joe has been up and down the road. And then when he got to WWE, obviously he's had these concussion issues. So, we've got to deal with that. And it looks like he'd been sidelined. And you're right. He may be to a point where he's not able to get cleared. And then they probably don't want to pay for that level of a talent contract and probably wanted to rework a deal. I can only imagine this is like any kind of sports team. And then, he said, I'm not going to work for that little bit of money. I'm not going to work for Corey Graves' money or whatever the hell
right.
The guy going on. And then maybe that's where we're going. This is all speculation. We can't even fact check that, of course. So who knows?
Yeah, so before my little technical mishap here, and I apologize about that, I think the IIconics is the biggest loss for WWE because I think you can take them to AEW or Impact Wrestling and say, we're going to build around this team. You can obviously build around those two individuals. Billie Kay and Peyton Royce have proven that they can either cut a promo by themselves or create a character by themselves and get over. Billie Kay did that not awesome, but I thought it was really fun with the resume. Hey, check out what I can do for you. That was fun. It was comedy. It got over.
Fun.
Peyton Royce obviously cut that promo on Raw Talk that says, hey, give me my spot. I fucking need this. And if you also consider, she's married, I believe, to Shawn Spears over in AEW, so she already has an in with AEW. So I think that's just the natural progression.
I imagine
of where she
we'll
goes
see them
next.
over there because,
yeah.
if not both of them, because I mean, again, they are. We say they're hurting for a women's division. They do have a decent workers, like they've got good workers.
They've got some, yeah.
And they needed to focus more time on it. Albeit, I will say this: American crowds will still have an issue connecting to non-American. Workers, as good as they are, you know what I mean? Like, if for whatever, I think there's a language barrier issue that we just aren't taught enough to you know what I mean, to work with.
Well, we're being stupid idiots as far as Americans. But I tell you what, you put Britt Baker and Rebel versus the IIconics, and I'm watching that 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
That's just
10 times out of 9 even.
Yeah, that is just ready for AEW Dynamite main event for whatever episode you want. So I honestly think they're the biggest loss.
I might even watch that over the Cutie Marshall match.
Hey, don't you talk bad about our best friend,
won't.
Cutie Marshall. Quick Trip Marshall is here to stay, and we will talk about him in just a little bit because he looked like an angry bowler on AEW Dynamite, but we'll get to that in a second. But where I see on Twitter a lot of this late-breaking news where, hey, Samoa Joe needs to fight fill-in-the-blank wrestler at Ring of Honor or fill-in-the-blank wrestler at Impact or fill-in-the-blank wrestler at AEW. I just think, to be honest with you, hey, let's let this guy just chill. Maybe give him an executive position or a, type of backstage role where he can transition to not put so many miles on his body. I know that everyone wants Samoa Joe versus your favorite Ring of Honor talent or Samoa Joe versus Orange Cassidy in AEW or whatever that is. I'm just saying with Samoa Joe specifically, let's just chill.
Samoa Joe and Miro would be a fun.
Oh, Samoa Joe and Kenny Omega would be great. Samoa Joe and Hangman Adam Page, if you put Samoa Joe as a heel, that would be great. I just think maybe let's just put him in an ice bath for a couple months, see how he feels, and then we'll get back to him. But the IIconics, as soon as that whatever time period that they can't compete is done, get them right into a tag division in AEW. That's where I think their natural progression is.
Yeah, I really don't know what we're going to do without Tucker. I really am I'm lost on that one. And, Chelsea Green and Kalisto.
So Chelsea Green married to, or I believe engaged to, Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona has a good working relationship with Impact. Chelsea Green really made her name in Impact Wrestling as the, bride left at the altar, and then she went nuts. I think she could go right back into that role. She has some real character chops as far as putting herself over. So I think going back to Impact, hanging out with her fiance or husband, again, we don't fact check here. I think that's what she should be doing next. But again, I don't know contracts.
Yeah, I have no clue. So Yeah.
And Kalisto, he could go to AAA, have him and Andrade just take over the world down there in Mexico.
That's
that would
Lucha
be great.
House Party, right? That's
two of the three, or that's one of the three members. But Kalisto and Andrade, I think the next AAA Mania would be a headliner every single year.
Well, then I suppose that's the big breaking news. So we should probably transition into a fun Wednesday evening event because NXT moved to Tuesday. Look, we've got WrestleMania to talk about. We're going to cover that. Wrestling is changing. Wrestling is changing, right? We've got all these folks fired.
Oh, my goodness.
Going who knows where. NXT has moved to Tuesday nights. Dynamite's here. They've got Dark 2. They've got all kinds of shit going on right now. They've got another YouTube show going on. It's crazy, Tom. It's crazy.
I tell you what,
it's crazy.
We could spend 6 hours just talking about all the pro wrestling that happened this past week, but